Something on your mind you wanna talk about. Slip in Brandon's tub and talk it out. It's Hot Tubs, Hot Takes. Hot Tubs, Hot Takes.
Welcome to Hot Tub Hot Takes, the Socratic Soaking Symposium. I'm your host, and we are ready to get the hottest takes in the hottest place. REA, would you do me the pleasure of letting me know our guest and topic for today? Today we have Noah Rosenberg, who's going to be talking about why decaf coffee is meaningless and pointless. I feel like we should be beverage appropriate today. REA, can you pass along some cold brew, mine with almond milk? Noah, straight up, please. Noah.
Straight up, now tell me that anyone love me.
Is it just a hit and run? Noah, welcome to the tub.
Brandon, I just want to say it's an honor and it's a pleasure to be here. I want to do a l'chaim and a mazel tov.
L'chaim to caffeinated coffee.
It's an honor. That is really good.
Homemade.
Do you make this yourself?
I take beans, I grind them up, and I steep them in water.
I just want to say, like, for the record, this is a really, really good, like, cold brew. Like, you could sell this. It's fruity. I'm going to guess you use an Ethiopia bean. Am I right?
I actually used, it's called Ethiopia from Cultivated Ipsy.
It's like Ethiopia yogurt chef, isn't it?
I don't even know what that means.
It's like fruity, blueberry.
It is fruity.
I highly recommend you try Brandon's cold brew.
Well, this is going to be good because you clearly know your coffee. And
I'd say so.
This is a hot take. I'm literally dripping sweat right now.
This is a hot take. We're
so
two
hot.
hotties and we're in a hot tub sweating.
So I want to know your opening statement, your manifesto, if you will. Tell us why decaf coffee is pointless and meaningless, and we shall go from there.
So, Brandon, decaf. I should preface and say I ran a coffee shop for a couple of years. I served many caffeinated drinks and many decaffeinated drinks, and I can honestly tell you that decaf coffee is pointless and meaningless because, first off, when you look at coffee, the whole thing about coffee is to get you awakened, enlightened. Your energy goes up. The caffeine is supposed to go into your bloodstream, and what happens is it kind of constricts your vessels, your blood vessels, and it makes your blood and it makes your brain run a lot better. I think decaf coffee is pointless, though, because the whole point of coffee is to get yourself jilted and awake and kind of enlightened and all that stuff. And decaf is totally the opposite of that. There's nothing that has to do with caffeine. There's nothing that has to do with kind of getting yourself awake and ready. It's literally mud water. It's black mud water. It has a little bit of the taste of coffee, but being honest, caffeine has a lot of the taste of it. So that's one of my takes. Why? Yeah,
so I guess that was already going to be one of my kind of contradictory rebuttals was I'm late to the coffee game, so you a little sweaty?
I'm a little sweaty.
Get me a little bit?
Oh, you got it.
No, dab me.
Oh, dab.
Yep.
Dab.
That's good. I'm late to the coffee game, so I honestly just started drinking a couple months ago, and I drink the caffeine. But
congratulations.
Thank you so much. One of the arguments that I heard from a lot of folks who are extremely sensitive to caffeine and feel that crash and feel the jitteriness a little bit more contributes to their anxiety, say that they love the taste of coffee, but they don't like the caffeine. Should they have a right? Should they have a human right to experiencing that taste of decaf coffee, or are we talking about it just shouldn't even exist?
So, Brandon, you actually bring up, that's like the number one argument. I mean, for example, I have a really, really good friend that has a heart condition, and they cannot have, they were born with half a heart. I mean, they're fine now, but they cannot drink regular caffeinated coffee, so they have to drink decaffeinated or herbal teas. And for that, I have to say, first off, that there's a really big, like, kind of misconception about decaf coffee because it takes away about 96% of the caffeine, but there is still a lot left. So let's say on average, we're talking hypothetically, but typically the mean of caffeine in coffee is about 100 milligrams, right? So if you
say
take,
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically it's about 100.
Okay.
So it's about 100, maybe 150, depending on like what kind of coffee. So what happens is when you take out the the caffeine, you can't take out all of the caffeine. So you're still left with about 5 to 10 milligrams of caffeine. So decaf coffee is funny. They call it decaffeinated, but it still has caffeine in it.
It's less caffeinated.
It's a lot less caffeinated, but it does have caffeine in it. So the funny thing is the feeling that a lot of people get from drinking decaf, saying, oh, it's not regular, I'm fine, blah, 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 blah. You're getting that feeling from caffeine. It's not as much, but...
So is that not a useful technology to have, to be able to suck out some of the caffeine so that people can enjoy it at lower doses?
I guess my thing is, why are you... It's kind of like, caffeine is a drug. Can we agree on that?
I can definitely agree on it.
I mean, I know like you have a background in psychology, like dealing with like... Caffeine is a mind-altering substance. It gets you
100%.
in a different mood, whatever, a different mindset. And
My heart is out of its chest right now.
Yeah, I bet. I'm just warming up, man. I'm going to have another 6 coffees after,
Okay.
once I sweat it all out in this hot tub right here.
Okay.
But the interesting thing about caffeine is that it's I would argue it's one of the only legal drugs in the world. There's a couple places where coffee is actually was illegal.
Not
for a
only
little bit.
legal, almost socially encouraged.
It's socially encouraged. It's maybe $1 trillion, $100 billion industry.
Yeah.
And it's socially encouraged. It's acceptable when you go to someone's house. Oh, can I make you a cup of coffee? Oh, let's meet for coffee on a first date. Don't drink decaf. There's many other options that have no caffeine at all. I mean, there's a delicious peppermint herbal tea. There's rooibos, which actually is a bush. It's not a tea, from South Africa, and it's fantastic.
No, it is really good. It
Yeah.
doesn't taste like coffee.
It does no, but like my whole thing is like, why are you drinking? Like the whole part about coffee is that it has caffeine in it. It's a mind-altering substance, and like you're taking it out.
Yeah, so I guess you're talking about it. You're talking about a deeper existential purpose. So we're talking about less about meaningless and pointlessness. We're talking about an actual embedded meaning in coffee, and you're suggesting that the meaning of coffee that can never be stripped away from the substance is the fact that it alters our mind.
That's part of my, yeah, that's definitely
And
a
when
big
you
part
and
of
when
my
you
argument.
take away the mind-altering nature of the coffee, it's not coffee anymore.
Right.
It's just water with mud.
So coffee originated in Kenya and Ethiopia, and this goat was discovered munching these Arabica berries or cherries, and they found out what it was, and they grinded it up, and they mixed it with hot water. I'm of course paraphrasing it, but I'm enjoying this delicious coffee that Brandon made. Oh yeah. But I just find it like you're going against the whole meaning of it just so that you can be like socially acceptable, drinking something that looks like coffee, but it totally isn't.
If you were out with someone and they ordered a decaf coffee, do you feel so passionate about it that you would vocalize your opinion, or do you keep it to yourself, or is that context dependent?
I would keep it to myself, but I would slightly be like, oh, they ordered decaf. And all my friends and all my family, especially my mother, know that I kind of have a thing against decaf.
So you're arguing that we're doing a disservice.
Yeah, you're doing a major disservice to yourself and also to the beans. I mean, you could be really enjoying a nice, tasty cup of coffee and enlightening and heightening your consciousness, but instead you're just, you think you're being healthy, but you're not. It's kind of like margarine. People told you to do it, but if you actually look at the arguments of margarine and trans fats are really bad for you and all that, it's not good for you.
So I guess what conclusion we're coming to is we really need to start comparing coffee to margarine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would agree.
There you have it. I've been your host. This has been our guest. You've been a viewer, and we will see you next time in the tub.